Welcome to Building Resilience, a podcast where theory, practical strategies, and inspiring stories show you how to unlock your best life. I'm your host, Leah Davidson. As a certified life coach, speech-language pathologist, and nervous system resilience expert, it is my mission to teach you how to be more resilient to life's adversities. I will show you how to manage your mind, befriend your nervous system, process your emotions, and even eliminate stress. It's time to do more than just survive. It's time to thrive. Let's get started. Have you ever had a reaction that feels way bigger than the situation? Like somebody makes a comment and suddenly you're spiraling or you're shutting down or you're ready to run. You're left wondering, am I overreacting here? Is this just my past stuff? Or is something actually going on here? Today we're unpacking that exact moment, the confusion, the overwhelm, the wait, what just happened? Welcome to the Building Resilience podcast, episode 232. Is it me or is it them? Understanding triggers. Now, this episode is inspired by a brilliant question somebody asked me in my membership. And I know that if one person is wondering this, chances are many of us are. So she said, I really have no concept of the time frame of being triggered. If something happens today that feels like an old wound, I struggle with boundaries because I don't know, is it just me being triggered? Or if the current trigger is actually unacceptable behavior. So yes, yes, yes. What an excellent question. It can be pretty confusing. So today we're going to explore what's happening when you get triggered, how your nervous system processes time, and how to tell if you're reacting to something in the now or if your nervous system is replaying something from the past. And I'm going to walk you through some tools to get clarity, to create space, and support yourself in those tricky moments where you're not sure what is real. So let's start with the basics. Your nervous system is doing its job to keep you alive. Now, it doesn't care about logic or timelines or context even. It cares about survival. So when it detects a threat, real or perceived, it reacts quickly and automatically. And remember, it reacts based on what's going on externally for you, so your senses, your five senses, or we call it exteroception. What's going on internally in your body, what is called interoception, and then what's going on between us, kind of relationally. So all together, this is called neuroception. But the tricky part is neuroception happens below the level of conscious thought. It's happening behind the scenes all the time on a very automatic level. So essentially, you don't decide to get triggered. Your system senses, neurocepts, something that feels similar to a past danger or a past experience, past hurt, and it responds as if you are back in that moment. So your nervous system does not have a timeline or a timestamp. This means that a present-day situation, a tone, a look, a delay in receiving a text or something, can set off the exact same internal alarm bells as something painful from your past. And that's why your reaction might feel huge or confusing or simply out of proportion. Now, one of the most important things to understand is that what you think, the stories that you create, they're all influenced or flavored, as I call it, by the state of your nervous system. Your nervous system influences everything and provides the view through which you see the world. Now, Deb Dana, who's known for her work in the world of polyvagal theory, she refers to this as your story follows your state. And what this simply means is that your physiological state, your level of regulation or dysregulation, always comes first. And your thoughts, your interpretation, your story comes after. So if your nervous system senses danger and shifts into survival state, your brain will then create a story that matches your physiological state. I love to give the example of somebody asking me about where I get my hair done. Now, if I'm in a dysregulated state with a lot of energy, so a hyper-aroused state or team hyper, as I like to call it, I might say, why? What's wrong with my hair? You don't like my hair? So there's this energy And actually, I don't care what you think. So there's this defensive energy, maybe even a bit aggressive, maybe very reactionary. Now, if I'm in more of a shutdown mode or a hypo-aroused state, or team hypo as I call it, I may feel almost like a shame. Like, why, you don't like it? I know it's terrible. I really should do something better for it. I need to find a new place. I need to get it done elsewhere. If I'm in a regulated, a safe state, a home state, or as I call it, team resilient, I may say, oh, I go to Gloria. She's on Queen Street. She's great. You want her number? It's just very, very neutral. So you can see how the state will impact my story. So in dysregulation, it will be things like, they don't respect me. I'm always being abandoned. I can't trust anyone. And if you're regulated, your story is going to be different. That was a weird tone. I wonder what's going on with them. Or, I feel hurt, but I know I can check in with myself. So your interpretation changes when your state changes. And that's why nervous system work is so powerful. It gives you the ability to shift your experience by first shifting your state. So there is this nervous system story that comes before the cognitive story. But the next question, and really the question that my client was asking, is how do you know if your reaction is about the now, the then, or both? So if you have a reaction to something, is your nervous system responding because it senses danger that is happening now, or is it pulling up and drawing from past experiences? I'm going to share with you several tools that you can use to explore the stories that are going on so you can start to build some awareness and get to know them better and explore the root. Now, not that you really need to always explore the root. So much work can just be done by learning how to address every situation you're exposed to or confronted to in a relaxed and regulated body, because all healing comes through establishing safety. So I'm not saying that you have to get to the root of the issue every time. The most important thing is to learn how to create and establish safety and then confront all triggers in a relaxed body. But since my client was asking, and sometimes you do want to go deeper and explore, which may actually mean that sometimes it's necessary to get professional support to do this exploration, for now, I want to give you a couple of tools that you can use in the moment to explore whether you're responding to things from the present or if the past is being pulled up. Tool number one. I want to invite you to explore what I'll call your inner cast of characters. And you can do this by asking, who does this feel like? Does this situation feel familiar? Maybe not just in content, but in tone. Am I responding to the actual person, the actual situation that is happening right now, or to someone that they remind me of? Often we find ourselves reacting to someone in the present as if they were someone from the past. Maybe an emotionally unavailable parent or a critical teacher or a rejecting friend. So check in to see who is the cast of characters in the present moment. Tool number two is to check the ratio. So you're going to ask yourself, does the intensity of my reaction match the situation? Does the feeling feel much bigger than the actual moment? Am I spiraling or collapsing in a way that seems disproportionate? Because this is a clue that your system is borrowing energy from a deeper and older experience. Present moment challenges usually feel manageable and clear. Past space reactions often feel heavy and sticky and confusing. Tool number three, it can be good just to do a nervous system state check. Because remember, your state flavors everything. So you want to get clear on what state you are in. So just asking yourself, what state am I in? Am I grounded and calm? Am I in team resilient? Or am I anxious and panicked? Maybe in team hyper? Or am I shut down or numb? team hypo. And this is why it's so helpful for you to get to know what happens to you in each state of your nervous system. Why it is helpful to get to know you and your own nervous system. What is it like being you in team hyper, team hypo, and team resilient? Because if you're in a dysregulated state, then it's very possible that part of you is reliving something unresolved. Now, tool 4 is the 3-lens reflection. You can also play around with different kinds of lens, the past, the present, and the future lens. And these are also some great prompts to journal, so you can start building some awareness and perspective. So you might ask yourself in the past, what old story or memory is this moment reminding me of? And then just journal about it. In the present, what are the raw, observable facts of what's happening? And then the future. What am I afraid this means about what comes next? So this can help you really separate the data, separate the facts from the narrative, the stories that you're telling yourself. It helps you see what's yours and what's here. Tool number 5 is a time travel check-in. Now, this can be an interesting tool to use. Basically, you're going to stop and go internal and start talking to yourself and asking yourself some questions. You can journal about them if you want, or you can doodle about them. You can ask things like, how old do I feel right now? Because if the answer is younger than your current age, an old part of you is likely being activated. Your brilliant little self is likely there using some strategies that have helped you adapt throughout the years. So spend some time sitting with them, exploring them, and even welcoming them. Try comparing how your 2025 self, your 2020 self, your 2010 self, or your 20-year-old or 10-year-old self might respond. So play around with the different timelines. What's different? What's the same? Now, tool number 6 is to do a voice dialogue. This is one of my favorite exercises, and it's drawn from something that you've likely heard of, parts work. Now, parts work is a way of understanding yourself by noticing that different parts of you show up in different situations, like the part that wants to stay calm, or the part that gets overwhelmed, or the part that criticizes you, or the part that just wants to escape. These parts often have their own thoughts and feelings and needs, and they're usually trying to protect you in some way, even if it doesn't always feel helpful. So parts work helps you get curious about these inner voices instead of judging them, so you can respond with more compassion, clarity, and choice. So you can try something like imagine your present-day self having a conversation with a younger part that's activated. You can ask things like, what are you afraid of? What do you need? Or even, what do you want me to know? This creates this internal connection and compassion, which helps your system settle and return to clarity. Again, it can be really helpful to have some guidance for this type of work, to work with a coach or a therapist or somebody who's familiar with these tools, especially with parts work. Now, another thing you can do to try to establish the now and the then and to gain some perspective is to do a visual exercise, something like a trigger timeline. So basically, if you can visualize drawing a horizontal line across a page and label 3 points: past, the old wound or memory; trigger moment, what just happened; and current response, what you're feeling, what you're thinking, and what you're now doing. And then ask, is this mostly about then, now, or both? You can even color code it or draw symbols or doodle the feelings around it, as this can help you reflect and build awareness without judgment. Now, while it's great to use all these tools, and while you may want to explore to determine if you're being triggered by the past or if it is a current situation that's getting to you, the reality is it doesn't have to be one or the other. You can be reacting to an old wound and dealing with something that's not okay right now. And again, your job isn't necessarily to figure it all out perfectly. The biggest thing you can do to help yourself, regardless of the route, is to give yourself a space to check in and respond from your adult resource self, not your wounded part. So that can be why doing something like the safety sequence can be helpful, and be doing it all the way along. Am I safe? Do I feel safe? And then deliberately relaxing the body. I have a video that walks you through the exact steps and reasoning behind the safety sequence that you can always refer to. Because whether you're being triggered by the past or facing a challenging current situation, the safety sequence is one of the best tools that you can use. So the next time you're activated and unsure, remember, your nervous system might be blending timelines, but your awareness can separate them. You can try these tools, use the safety sequence, and give yourself lots of self-compassion. Get curious and just drop the judgment. And if you want support in practicing these tools in real time, then come and join us inside the Nervous System Journaling Club for starters. It's where we start to do this work together safely and at a pace that honors your system. And if you could also do me a favor and please share this episode with someone who you think could benefit. I hope you found this helpful, and I'll see you next time.